A bit of weight loss motivation for you to start the week. Learning a lot at the moment about things, just talking to people through different channels and whatever else, and sort of with people starting the weight loss charity challenge again next week. Details in below. You're kind of seeing a lot more. People are getting a bit more curious now about things, because just people they ain't getting any thinner. You know what I mean? And I think we sort of walk round the subject a little bit. We tiptoe a little bit around subjects, and we don't really approach things in the way that we should, and we don't really present things in an honest manner. Now, what I want to talk about today is a couple of things. I want to talk about sacrifice firstly, and this notion that what tends to happen is that the reason why the weight loss industry works so well is because it's not teaching anybody they have to sacrifice really anything. It's sort of, well, just cut your portions down on your favourite foods, or have a different type of biscuit, or have a different type of chocolate bar, which is one that's more low calorie or low fat. Do you understand? So what's happening here is that people are being taught you don't have to sacrifice anything. Now, one of the key rules to anything in this life, this system that we've been given, is if you want to do something, go and look at the people who've done it and go and ask them what they did. And when I say go and done it, go and speak to people that have lost weight and kept it off for a sustained period of time. Let me give you an example. Me personally, I've gone from a fat person to a thin person. Now, I will spend the rest of my life as a thin, lean person, from spending the majority of my early life, the first 20 odd years, as a fat person. Does that make sense? So what I've done is I've changed the type of person that I am. So I'm going to live this bit of my life as a thin person rather than being a fat person. Whereas most people either start off thin and get fat, or start off fat and get thin, then get fat again, then get thin again, and just go through this process. Does this make sense to people? So when we're looking at what we want to do and how we want to do it, you've got to associate with people that have done this and have kept it off. And when it comes to weight loss people, groups and clubs, that's a very small percentage of people, because there's no sacrifice involved. You know, literally on the front of a Slimming Club magazine the other day, I saw a thing that said, eat what you want and still lose. Do you understand why that sells so well? Because there's no sacrifice. I've done this. You've got to fucking sacrifice something to get where you want to fucking get to. Does this make sense? You can't just fucking go there and go, oh, I'm going to do X, Y, Z. This has got nothing to do with judging people and all that crap that fucking people say to me about you judging. Fuck judgment. I'm not criticising any particular protocol. I'm not criticising any particular company. I'm talking about common fucking sense. If you want to go nail this, go out there and have a look at the people that are doing it, weight loss particularly. It can be anything, but weight loss I'm talking about, and look at what they're doing. And there has to be an element of sacrifice in order to get where you're going to get and achieve what you're going to achieve. There has to be. There has to be. 2 rules on this for this week and ongoing. Rule number 1, do not complain about the results of your own choices and actions. If something happens to you, bereavement, someone crashed into you that's not your fault, whatever, your house burns down, if that's not your fault, fine. But things that are you're doing, if you eat the wrong foods and get fat, do not complain about the results of your actions. Ladies, if you eat the wrong food, don't then complain that people don't want to be around you, okay? And men don't want to be with you. Don't do the behaviour if you don't want the result, number 1. Number 2, don't say you can't do something, or don't say you don't like something until you've tried it. So don't say you don't like a particular food group without trying it. It's childish and it's pathetic. The second thing is, don't, excuse me, don't say you can't do something until you've had a go. Because how do you know? How do you know if unless you stick to things? It can't always be this fluffy, motivational, inspirational thing. Sometimes it's got to be common fucking sense. Number one, what are you going to sacrifice to get to where you need to get to? Do you have to miss a couple of games of the World Cup? Do you have to, change what you eat? Do you have to say no to your best friend who's offering you a cake or a biscuit? Do you have to do these things? And if you don't want to do these things, it's fine, but then don't complain about the results of your own choices and actions if you're not willing to sacrifice. This madness, this stupidity has got to stop. It's not about us having a go at each other and saying, you're doing this wrong, you're doing that wrong, you're doing this wrong. It's about helping people. And if you want help from somebody that's lost weight, you've got to look at what they've done. And I guarantee you, there has been, for people like me who've kept it off for 9 years, there has been some sacrifice involved, whether that time, effort, money, choices of foods that I like. There has to be some sacrifices. If you don't like this message, then please feel free to go and follow a protocol where there's no sacrifice involved. But I promise you, you more than likely, 90%, 95% of the time, will fail. We get too emotional. We get too la-di-da. It's judging. It's not judging. It's common fucking sense. Look at what you're going to sacrifice. Don't complain about the results of your own choices and actions, and try some stuff before you sort of make snap childish judgments about whether you like something. So that's a bit harsh, but we've got to get through this. People are getting fatter, people need help. People are getting ill, they need help. They don't need some fluffy bollocks, and they don't need to be told that you can eat fucking biscuits and lose weight. They need support from professional people who can coach them through this process. So, Birmingham folks, if you're looking for some support, and you're a bit tentative and a bit nervous, I'm still doing my free weight loss contest starting this week or starting next week. This is not a free ride. It's not somebody who can come in and just have a free 6 weeks training course. This is something where you need to commit, follow a diet plan and some support. No additional investment required, just raising some money for charity. I'll put the links in the bottom. If you want to see how common sense works and how a structured, logical weight loss program works, I'll put a link in there. Ask me any questions that you like. Have a great week. I'll see you all soon. Cheers.